Shadow puppets. One of the oldest forms of puppetry in recorded history that is still widely used today by puppeteers, storytellers, educators, and more. Though the styles and techniques may vary between cultures and time period, the general concept is still the same. A light source casts a shadow on a screen of an object on sticks or rods that is controlled by a person or puppeteer to create the illusion of life.
Hi, my name is Matt McGee and I'm a puppeteer. Today I'm going to show you how you can design and create your very own moving shadow puppet with nothing more than a few items you probably have lying around the house right now.
First, you gotta clear some space on your table. So move all those other projects and junk away. It's shadow puppet time. Now let's get our materials.
For this project, you will need 2 pieces of scratch paper, 1 piece of heavy cardstock or cardboard, a pencil, a permanent marker, some scissors, maybe an X-Acto knife. Though if you're gonna use this, be sure to have adult supervision because these things are very sharp and dangerous. You'll also need a hole punch, some paper fasteners or brads, bendy straws, or if you don't have those, some chopsticks, or even some more pencils. And finally, some masking tape.
Before you draw your character on your piece of scratch paper, you need to think about which angle will create the greatest silhouette. Your head, for instance, straight on in the shadows, isn't very exciting to look at, just a couple of ears. But you turn your head sideways and bam, you've got a profile of exciting features that are much more eye-catching. Since I've had a lot of turkey recently, I'm gonna draw turkey, but I'll draw it from the side, or at profile, so that you can see all its features. Now I want my turkey's head to move with the neck, which means it needs to have 2 pieces, so I'll draw these curved lines to indicate where those pieces might overlap, as well as the axis point where they'll turn. Next, take your permanent marker, trace out all the outer lines, including the overlapping marks and axis point. To split our turkey into 2 pieces, we'll trace out each overlapping section and axis point on our second piece of scratch paper and cut them out. To test the movement of your puppet, put a pin into the axis points and see if it turns like you envisioned. If you're happy with the movement, then you can take those pieces and trace them out on your cardstock. Now, I like to conserve material, so I don't trace in the middle of the page. I put them as close to the edge and as close to each other as possible. Why? To leave more space for more puppets, of course. Be sure to mark where those axis points are, then carefully cut it out. You may have some internal cuts that the scissors just can't reach. That's where an X-Acto knife would come in handy, but be very careful and have adult supervision with those. Use a hole punch for the axis points. Then take your paper fasteners and put the 2 pieces together. To move your puppet, you'll need some control rods. That's where the straws, pencils, or chopsticks come in handy. I'll use a straw and a pencil. Tape a rod to each piece of the puppet as close to the axis as you can, and you're ready to go. Now let's find a shadow screen. If your light source is a little higher and your rods and hands come straight back from the puppet and screen, they cast less shadows, so the puppet takes focus. Now you can see how much life can come to the puppet when it's in 2 parts, but what if we split it into 3 parts? A snowman is in 3 parts, and it's the perfect weather for it, so let's make a snowman. You don't have to be a great artist either because you're only going to see the silhouette. Remember to draw your marks of where you think they'll overlap as well as the axis points. Then trace out your final outline, overlapping marks, and axis points with the permanent marker. To split them into 3 pieces, we'll do what we did before with our second piece of scratch paper by tracing out each segment with its overlapping marks and axis points, and then we'll cut it out to test its movement. If you don't have a pin or needle to push through the axis points, don't worry, just use the tip of your pencil on the table to see how it moves. Once you're happy, you'll trace it out on the cardstock, conserve materials, cut them out, and use a hole punch to cut out those axis points and any other features you might want light to shine through, like the eyes. And then you'll put it all together. When working with 3-section puppets, it's important to put the outer 2 sections on the top, not the bottom, but on the top. This will help with its movement later. Put it together with the paper fasteners, and you're ready for your control rods. Now I'll use a straw and a chopstick this time. Create a nice masking tape hinge close to the axis points on those outer 2 pieces, and you're ready to go. Look at that. You can see how much more life and movement the puppet has with 3 sections as opposed to 2.
So there you go. 2 simple shadow puppets made of cardstock, drinking straws, pencils, chopsticks, tape, and paper fasteners. What will you make? The puppets you create and the stories you tell are literally limitless. Have fun, and thank you for watching. Bye.
Let's go. Okay.